In today's video, I want to share with you 5 YouTube videos from 5 different creators here on YouTube that I feel have impacted my work so much and gave me those fun little amazing aha moments. I have been on a journey myself to learn skills on how to paint portraits, namely my son Parker. But I learned so much from Paint Coach, who is an oil painter. And by the way, check out his channel because there are so many good tips about painting in general and design and composition. Composition, in my opinion, is more important than learning techniques. You can use the most simple techniques, but if you don't understand color and design and composition and all those basics, your painting's not going to look good. It's not going to hang together well, and Paint Coach will help you with that. And what he taught me about painting children in particular was that children's faces are on a flatter plane. Like the nose doesn't jut out as far. The angles are softer. The eye sockets are not as deep. So what that means is that the values in a child's face are going to be more subtle. There's not going to be these harsh lights and darks next to each other. There's a lot of softness and there's a lot of very nuanced gradations from light to dark. There's not any harsh, fast changes in values.
So the main thing that you need to know about child portraits that is so important is you need to be able to identify and handle very subtle shifts in value. Why are the value shifts so subtle? They're like this because the features of a baby or a child are not nearly as defined as those of an adult. With an adult, the eye sockets are going to be deeper, the brow bone is going to be more pronounced, the nose is going to be bigger, cheeks are going to be more angular.
That really helped me realize that I needed to be really careful with my blending techniques and also use not any super lights and super darks against each other, and also not have any harsh, hard lines within the face when I painted Parker. So I'm forever grateful to Paint Coach for that tip. It's so helpful. All right, let's talk about my second video that I learned so much from. I love this video by Ellen Crimmy Trent. It was a tutorial on how to paint poinsettias for Christmas cards. And that's what the video was about. But the thing that I loved so much about it was that she painted the poinsettias really tight, and then she went in and scrubbed everything and made really loose edges, and it just made it so dreamy looking. And
now let's see, it's kind of dried into the paper. We want that dried into the paper, and we're going to kind of destroy it. Okay, you ready? So we got water on our brush. I'm going to just kind of push this paint out. Play around with it. Look at that. So you got these two fun, wild and crazy kind of abstract Christmas designs.
If you follow me at all, you know I am after a looser, dreamier approach that makes you feel, I don't know, the painting just looks so poetic. And her poinsettias came out so beautiful, and she started by painting them tight and then scrubbed them. And so I love this technique, and often I've actually done this in some of my paintings, especially with eyes, and I wasn't really meaning to do this, but I was fixing like this portrait of a dog that I'm showing you here. I scrubbed out edges of his eye, and it just made everything look so much dreamier and softer. So soft, disappearing edges really make a painting look magical, and this is a good way to get those soft, dreamy edges. It's almost like a cheater way. I feel like I'm cheating when I do this, but it's so beautiful. Another trick that I learned from another YouTuber, Deborah Lynn Rosenbach. She does loose watercolor flowers, and they're gorgeous. They just will break your heart. They're so beautiful. But what she does is she uses a lot of water. But what does she do when she gets those puddles on her paper? And then if you have a puddle on your paper and you drop paint into that, the paint's just going to go everywhere. It's not going to create any that looks like anything. Unless you want a soft atmospheric background, you really don't usually want puddles on your painting. But the trick to getting a soft, dreamy look a lot of times is using quite a bit of water. So what do you do when you get those puddles? You take toilet paper. You can take a piece of toilet paper, lay it on top of your puddle, and it will evenly soak it up, and you can lift it up, and it'll lift up mostly the water and not much of the paint. So it will leave you with a still very wet paper to work with for your dreamy effects, but it won't take up the pigment. So I love this trick, and I use it all the time now. So thank you, Deborah. You're awesome. Another one that I appreciate so much, it was by Shada Campbell, and what she was talking about was the importance of not overworking your brush strokes. And she had this wonderful video showing how if you go in and you paint a color and then you keep dabbing at it and messing with it, it can lose its freshness. And if you want your watercolors to look really fresh, you put your strokes in and then you leave them alone. I'm terrible at doing that, but it was such an aha moment to me.
I am going to do the what not to do example first. So I'm starting by painting a flower, but I'm really working the paints. I don't leave them alone. All the colors are really flat. There's no variation. It doesn't look terrible, but it could look so much better. And so that's what we're going to do now. We're going to paint this again, and I'm going to show you the right way. So each petal, I go one by one, just like the first one, but instead of moving the paint around constantly, I just do 1, 2, maybe 3 strokes, and I leave it alone. You can see that the paint is settling into the paper really nicely, and there's all these wonderful variations in the color. Lively, so alive and so beautiful.
That I needed to make my mark and leave it alone after that and move on, and that will help your work look so much fresher. So thank you, Shada, for that little glimmer of knowledge. It's really helped me keep my work a lot fresher. All right, because I've already talked about James Gurney a lot, just go check out his channel. I'm not even going to say. If you want to know the most amazing trick that totally changed my life in the last 2 years as far as making my art better, just go watch my other videos. I'm not going to talk about it again. I don't want to bore my OGs, so... But I did watch a cool video. One of the things that's really fun about YouTube analytics behind the scenes is that YouTube tells me what my viewers are watching. And so I really come across some really cool videos that have gone kind of viral in the watercolor art space. And one of those videos was by a brand new YouTuber. She might be up to 2,000 now because of this one video that got so popular. It's about map crunching. And I love this. Her name is Kendra Labuga. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Really sorry that's wrong. I'll put her name up here so you can see it. But she shared this really cool website. It's called mapcrunch.com. And I am totally a Google Maps nerd. I love to go travel in Google Maps. You can go on Street View and click through the maps and look at places. And I've been to all over Italy and Hawaii and all these different countries you can just kind of go poke around in because Google Maps has been in a lot of those places. So mapcrunch.com is a Google Maps website where you go and you can click the little button and it'll take you just to a random place in the world. And you can also refine your search to find really interesting images. So here is a really cool image, for example, that popped right up. It's in Chicago. I love this. So you can paint from Google Maps images like this. So if you find a beautiful landscape in Google Maps, which I have, they do ask that you share that you got the image from Google, but you can paint landscape paintings, cityscapes, anything from any image or anything you find in Street View on Google Maps. And MapCrunch is just a fun way to do that. So thank you so much to Kendra for sharing that really cool website. I'd never heard of it, which is crazy because I'm such a Street View nerd. But I love that. So thank you. Go check out her channel. Give these artists some support that they deserve. And also, you can show me some support by liking this video, leaving a comment. The number one thing that helps this channel the most is to go binge my other content. I have a ton of it. In fact, I am going to link here a video that is my most underwatched video, but it's like my most helpful. And it's where I talk about how you can paint on dry, semi-dry, wet paper with different combinations of tea, milk, and cream consistency paint. So there's 6 different pairings there, and they all give fabulously different results. They're all useful pairings to know. So go check that video out. Thank you so much for joining me. Go check out my Patreon. Go check out my Facebook group. I'll put that here. If you want to try one of my free real-time videos, it's Patreon style video to see if you like my teaching style, if you like painting animals especially. You can try Beginner Bunny, which I'll put a link to that here. Be sure to go binge the rest of my content to learn not just the how but the why of watercolor painting so you progress faster on your watercolor journey. Now go watercolor your world. Bye everybody.